Good morning. Welcome to Tuesday Free and Angela Lake Superior State University. Before we start, I'd like to thank all of you for the over 700 students that you sent to our campus this summer for summer meals and campus tours. It was a very positive experience, I know, for the students. It was a positive experience for our staff that worked with the students. One young lady this last week, we were starting to get on the bus, and she had tears in her eyes, and she did not want to leave. So that's a compliment to us, and then also to you for allowing those students to experience this. As I was talking to a group this morning, what we're trying to do also is to plan some summer, or not summer camps, but camps down at your sites this year, during the year. Having somebody come down maybe on a Saturday and doing a full day of camps for your students at that particular time. So what I'd like to do now is I'd like to introduce the charter school staff. I think you know most of them, but some of you who may not be familiar with all of our staff. First, I'd like to introduce our Deputy Director, Dr. Bruce Harger. And I believe this young lady, everyone knows, our Administrative Assistant, Jenny Peterman. Yeah, she deserves a lot of round of applause and cheering and a lot of other things. Our finance specialist, Becky Clausen. Our college and career readiness coordinator, Keith Cronke. Current enrollment coordinator, Jessica Savoy. And our three field representatives, Glenn Bachman, Larry Lindquist, and Larry Kowalczyk. This morning, we also have the privilege of having our new university president, Dr. Thomas Kleger, that would like to say a few words for us.
Well, welcome to the university. I'm pleased to see you here. I met quite a few of your students this summer that were visiting campus, and it was an exciting experience for me to see those eyes like this, and to see the passion and excitement of visiting a university and interacting with our faculty and staff. Some of the charter school students came over to my house this summer. There was a scavenger hunt. They had to visit places on campus. They got points for different activities, and one of the categories was meeting somebody with a beard. I got a picture with a beard, and then a picture at the president's home, a picture with a dog, and an out-of-state plate. I just moved from Wisconsin, so a couple of your students got a picture of me with a dog, out-of-state plate from the president's home, and got 100 points or something, some amount of that to satisfy their scavenger. Well, I'm pleased that you could join us here. How many of you have been to campus before? So a large number. This is an interesting year for higher education history. It was 70 years ago that the U.S. changed the game when it came to access to higher ed in the world by passing the GI Bill. 70 years ago this year. And it has significance to this campus because we opened in 1946 as a direct result of serving veterans. And the majority of our students that first year, this was Fort Brady military base commission, opened as an access institution for GIs. And the first group of students here were about 100 to 150 students, primarily GIs, that for the first time, many of them first-generation college students came here. We later, we were a branch of Michigan Tech at that time, and later gained our independence, became a university. But that legislation changed the United States and made us a world leader in higher education and the envy of other companies, or other countries and other countries. Because it provided for the first time a mechanism first generation and for people who otherwise weren't considering college to access our public university system. And I have a couple of friends that are historians in higher ed, and they talk about at the time it was a controversial idea. Veterans, the majority of veterans wouldn't be able to succeed in college. College was reserved for people that came from affluent families or from well-trained high school school experiences. And it was a game changer for us because it just immediately pumped thousands, tens of thousands of people into our higher education system, many of whom came from first-generation families. And one of the things that intrigued me as I met your boards when they were here a month or so ago was the diversity of charter schools that this group has involved. Some of them are clearly access institutions providing a pipeline to education, a game changer for those families. Others are very specialized in terms of their focus on the arts and technology. Very different from my home state of Wisconsin. We're just getting into, or I should say we or they, are getting into the charter school activities. Universities are starting charter schools. Michigan's way ahead. And we're proud of our affiliation with you. We're proud of the access points. We're proud of the connections that your schools provide to universities and access to higher education through the experiences that they have with you. We hope that you will consider promoting our institution and making this a viable option for your students. When I met students this summer, from my perspective, having charter schools affiliated with us and having your students visit the campus is an amazing opportunity for us. An opportunity to tell potential students about what this campus has to offer and what higher education has to offer in general. We appreciate your participation, appreciate sending students. It was a lot of fun for me. The other comment I heard this summer about one of the charter school students that to me, again, sort of a reflection of the experience was our aquatic research lab. Some of our students working over there told me they had one of your students tell them this was the first time they had ever seen a fish in the line. It was someone, I think, from obviously downstate probably. I thought, wow, what an amazing experience for you to come up here in the Great Lakes State, to come to Lake State and to see what our fisheries science program is doing and to see the kind of research and that experience firsthand. So I want to welcome you. I appreciate your connection to us, and I appreciate the work that our staff is doing, and I'm looking forward to meeting more of your students and interacting with you. Thanks very much.
So you'll be able to talk to him even more so. As he was referencing, as far as the great experience that the students had, and that's it. I mean, we can tell you a lot of stories about the students and the relationships that they've developed with the counselors and with your teaching staff and the individuals that came up with them, because it pulled them out of their environment and it put them in a strange environment. And for the most part, it was a very, very positive one. Our keynote speaker this morning is Dr. Damon Arnold. Dr. Arnold is the director of the Laker Academic Success Center at Grand Valley State University. He's also one of the board of directors for Grand Rapids Ellington Academy of Arts and Technology, one of our charter schools. And I knew when I met Damon for the first time, there was a reason I liked him. And the reason was he's a native of Cleveland, Ohio. And I'm a native of Youngstown, Ohio, which is like 60 miles south. Needless to say, you know who I root for when Ohio State may be playing one of the Michigan team. But other than that, I always vote for the Michigan. But anyways, Dr. Arnold has a message which is simple. It's not how you start, but how you finish that counts. Dr. Arnold.
All right, y'all okay? All right, so I know it's the morning time. How many morning people do we have in here? Anyone? Anyone? Okay, so we got, she's like, I ain't gonna even try to raise my hand. All right, did you take a picture of me? Did you get my Denzel side? All right, I like to have fun, so I hope you allow me to have fun. I hope you don't think that I'm gonna be up here and be this Dr. Damon Arnold guy. Because a little bit about me, I got kicked out of 2 different high schools. I graduated from a continuation or alternative school, so never once did I think, Damon, Dr. Arnold existed inside of me, okay? So I like to have fun. I work with big college students, you know, these big old football players and basketball players. Work with them on a daily basis, but what I love doing is I have an opportunity to travel around the world and talk about this mess that I messed myself up in, going through high school and getting kicked out of those high schools, but ultimately becoming this doctor or favorite Arnold guy. So will you allow me the opportunity to have fun? We have fun? All right, cool. So we have fun. All right, so since you allowed me the opportunity to have fun, I like to, whenever I speak, to introduce people. I'm speaking to my family. So I'm introducing you to my family, okay? Because I want, when I'm doing this presentation, I want us all to be family. For some of you, I might be your first black little cousin or uncle or something, but all right, for some of you, I might be that. But here we go. This is my wife. Me and Sherelle Arnold, we've been married 15 good years, long, good years. This first time she had a chance to come to a conference with me, so when I say long, and I usually go long for a whole long time. But good years, baby, good years. So that's Sherelle. So the next person I got to introduce you to, because like I said, we family. So the next person I got to introduce you to is this person right here. So it's crazy because whenever I show this picture, and I speak to a lot of different people, high school students and everything, and I show this picture and they look at it and they laugh. What if that was my son's real teeth? I'll be kind of hurt. But look, shameless plug. We have DVDs over at the table because, you know, he does have braces now. So, all right. That's DJ. So the next person I got to introduce you to is Alana. You know, it kills me because someone would be like, oh, that ain't no all picture. That's cornflakes in her hair. That was a rough day. That was a real rough day. But that's Alana. And here's the real picture of my superstar. That is my baby. And whenever I tell my stories, because my kids give me all the material that we're going to talk about, but whenever I tell my story, everybody always comes up to me at the end and they say, well, why you didn't say too much about your daughter? We're family now, right? Me and my daughter got issues. My son, that's my guy. You know, he plays sports now, and you know, he's playing soccer because he's 10 years old now. That's an old picture. And DJ, he's out there, he playing and he's scoring goals and everything. And my daughter, she playing soccer, and she out there dancing. I'm like, stop dancing, kick the ball. She's like, no. You know, so me and my daughter, we had issues. All right, so now we family, right? All right, so now I can keep it real with y'all. I almost didn't come today. I ain't gonna lie to you. They told me the bridge was crazy. I didn't know the bridge was like that. And so I told my wife, I said, well, they said this bridge is, and I ain't looked online to see how big it really was. And as we started getting closer, I was like, whoa. And then they said that last sign, you have one more time before you get on the bridge. And my wife looked at me, she said, you sure you're okay? I'm like, I don't know, baby. Because they said someone can drive you over if you stop at that. Did y'all hear that? But then my wife was like, you know, he had issues. So we went ahead and drove across, and I was on it. Now I tell you that to tell you this. When I got off the bridge, I called my kids, because my kids are with grandma this week. So they with grandma for the next 2 weeks. We'll see you back. 2 weeks. And I called my son and I called my daughter and said, look, because you know I'm this inspirational, motivational speaker. So I tell my kids, I'm like, I just tackled my fears thing. I was like, it was this bridge, it was the biggest bridge that I ever had to go through in my life. And I was almost turning around, but I couldn't turn around. So I went on the bridge and I made it across. And my kids said, and I'm thinking, they're like, yeah, Dad, where'd it go? They're like, so Daddy, so anyway, can we get a dog when we get back? That's what they were focused on. All right, so when we spoke about what they wanted to speak about at this conference, and then they said, you know, building relationships. But I know I'm speaking to the choir. So understand that. I know I'm speaking to the choir. You know the importance of building relationships. Now, understand this Dr. Damon Arnold guy, if it wasn't for people in my life like you in the room, because during this presentation, I don't want to just tell you what you need to be doing and whatnot, because you know what you need to do. You know what's important. You know how to bring your students to the level where they need to get to. What I want to do is also inspire you as well. I want to tell you some things that work for me. Because I was that student that we get irritated with, like, why don't you get it? I was him. But now, all right. You know, so I get it. I get it. All right. So I do this thing where when I go speak, I talk about cracking the code. Because I don't know if you remember, some years ago they had this book called The Secret. Success isn't a secret. It isn't. Success isn't a secret. People talk about it all the time. We tell our students what they need to do to be successful all the time. We just need them to understand to utilize the resources. We always say our students don't fail because of the resources. Our students fail because they don't utilize the resources they have. We're the resource. We're constantly talking to them about you need to do this in order to be successful. But we have to understand that we're dealing with some students that just don't get it right at that time. But we gotta continue to encourage them. Make sense? All right. Everybody stand up. Everybody stand up. All right, so this is what I need you to do. This is what I need you to do. Thank you for participating already. All right, so this is what I need you to do. I need everyone in the room. We're going to do this real quick. Everyone in the room, I need you to find a partner right next to you. Find a partner. One partner. One partner. One partner. One partner. One partner. One partner. Who does not have a partner? Raise your hand. Do not have a partner. So everyone has a partner. Listen to my instructions. Here we go. This is what I need you to do. What I need you to do, without talking, I need you to okay, perfect. Everybody listen to your partner. Now, I need you to get, listen to my instructions, back to back with your partner. Get back to back. Back to back with your partner. All right, so remember, let me tell you this. I've done this activities with real little kids, all the way up to CEOs, professional athletes, and the same thing always happens when I do this activity. We'll see if it happens with this group of educators. All right, so here we go. This is what I need you to do. I need you, when I say go, now until I say go, you're going to change 5 things about yourself. You're going to change 5 things about yourself. Now, you cannot turn around to see what your partner's changing, but you can look around to see what the room is doing. You're going to change 5 things about yourself, and when you're through changing the 5 things about yourself, you're going to raise your right hand so I know we can move on. Okay? All right, go. Perfect. The room has it right. I see. Perfect. That is what I'm talking about. Perfect. 5 things. Raise your right hand when you're done. I love it. Thank you. Good job, room. Good job, room. Great job, room. I love it. 5 things. Raise your right hand when you're done so I know we can move on. Perfect. I love it. I love it. This is not the strip club. I'm not going to get in trouble. All right. Keep going. Let's go. There we go. 10. 9, 8, 7, I love that. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Put your hands down, do not turn around. Listen to my instructions. Put your hands down, do not turn around. When I say go, you're going to turn around and you're going to guess the 5 things that your partner changed. But you are not going to change back. When you're through guessing the 5 things, you're going to raise your right hand so I know we can move on. And go. Perfect. Perfect. Do not change back.
Oh, yeah.
Do not change back. 5 different things about yourself. 5 different things about yourself. Not until I say go. Once again, you cannot turn around to see what your partner's changing, but you can turn around to see what the room is doing. Back to back. Wait. Back to back. And back to back. 5 different things. Go. Perfect. Don't turn around and see what your partner's changing. Once again, do not get me in trouble with makes a figure state, Larry. I see you. 5 different things about yourself. Perfect. I love it. Thank you for allowing yourself to have fun. Good job. Good job. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hands down, do not turn around. Hands down, do not turn around. Listen to my instructions. When I say go, you're going to once again turn around and try to guess the 5 things that your partner changed. But once again, you are not going to change back. When you're through guessing the 5 things, raise your right hand so I know we can move on. And go. take things off. I said change 5 things about yourself. And the reason why I had to say it's not strip club was Larry was like, oh yeah. I was like, no, Larry, no. How can we look at change as something that has to be taken away from us? How come we don't look at change as an opportunity? I'm looking around the room, there was many things that you could have picked up. See, we can go around in life and either act like we have to always get things taken away from us, or we can try to find the positive in everything. We can always try to find an opportunity to pick things up, and that's what we got to continue to tell our students. Even though it's something that they don't enjoy doing, what can we learn from this? What can we gather from this? I did this activity one time with this group, and this is the only person that I've seen do this. This person, I said change 5 things about yourself. Remember, I had you do it for a second round, but this was a sports team, and so this young man, they just came back from practice, and so I introduced myself, and the first thing we did was this right here. And so I said, change 5 things about yourself after they got back to back, and this person was taking everything off. He went all the way down to, I don't know if you're familiar with basketball players where it was called compression shorts underneath. And so he went all the way down to his compression shorts. And I'm thinking, oh, shoot. Because we're about to do another round of this, right? And so I said, back to back. And they got back to back. And I said, change 5 different things about it. He looked at me and said, oh, shoot. Because he didn't have anything else to lose. Because he wasn't looking at change as an opportunity to pick things up. But what I watched him do next was amazing, and I've never seen anyone else do this. He went around the room, and it was a white eraser board, and he picked up a white eraser, he picked up a marker, he picked up all of these things, 5 different things, and he put it like a pen in his ear. So when he turned around, and his partner turned around, he had picked up 5 different things. Once again, change is inevitable. Growth is optional. Change is going to happen regardless. What we don't have to do is grow. But we have to take the opportunity to pick things up. Does that make sense? All right, why did I have to, I got you. Why did I have to keep saying, do not change back? Do not change back. Let me tell you why. It's because when we walked out the house or the hotel this morning, we put ourselves together the way we're used to putting ourselves together. It's uncomfortable when we do something different. Someone was in the presence of a lot of people and they undid their belt. They're not used to doing it, I hope, but they're not used to doing it. Some people changed their hair around. Some people had their collars up. I watched you do all these things that made you uncomfortable. So when I said we were doing it a second round, I had to make sure that you didn't go back to what's comfortable. And see, that's what our students are trying to do all the time. They're trying to go back to what's comfortable. They're like this rubber band. If I had a rubber band in my hand and I stretched it out this far, what does that rubber band want to do? It don't want to pop. It wants to go back to what's normal. I can stretch it out again this far. What does it want to do again? It wants to go back to what's normal. See, this is what we have to convince our students of, that just going back to what's normal isn't going to help them grow. We have to teach them and tell them the importance of learning different things, of picking things up in order to grow. I know when we bring students from the east side of the state to Grand Valley State University, that's out of their comfort zone. So I can imagine your students that came up here. They probably like, this is different. But once again, it was an opportunity for them to grow, to learn something different. Yes, ma'am.
Or just some things that you couldn't see, like when you said that, I just in my brain was like, I'm a runner, but I'm not a runner. So that's what I changed about myself. But you're not seeing it picked up or whatever. So I don't know, how do you help them to change their attitude about who they are and what they can do?
Definitely. What happens is this. We act like change takes a long time to happen. I think change happens in an instant, but it won't happen until they get frustrated. It won't happen until they get to that point where they know it's important to change. See, we bang our heads on the wall, but they just haven't realized that it's a necessity to change. I had a client come in, one of my students came to my office one time, and she was, dealing with a situation with her boyfriend, and she came to my office. I guess she was up all last night, and I'm that person. My thing is relationships. I know the importance of relationships because that's what I do. And so that's why this is nothing. People ask me, I get a little bit nervous because I want to make sure I do well, but this is what I do. You know, our students that we're working with, it's something inside of them that they do. That's their thing. And we have to find that thing, help them find that thing, and help them to grow that thing. And so the student came in, and this is just how it happened. She came to my office, and I said, what's going on? And she was okay when she got there, but you could tell she was a little distraught. And she said, well, David, when Dante came home, and she started crying. And I said, stop it! And she jumped. And she was like, because they called me Doc, they said, Doc, why did you do that? And I said, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that. I can tell that you really are going through something right now, but I won't do that again. But go ahead and finish, tell me the story, tell me what happened. And she said, because she started thinking about it, and she started getting teary-eyed again. And she said, Doc, when Dante came home last night, and I said, stop it! And she jumped and she said, Doc, why are you doing that? And I said, well, I'm sorry. I know I keep doing that, and I know this is something that, has really disturbed you last night, and I know you waited all night to talk to me about it, and I'm sorry. I'm going to listen to you. So she looked at me, and this time she kind of was a little bit apprehensive about, continuing the way she was continuing before with this story. And so she looked, and she said, well, Doc, when Dante came home last night, and I could tell she was taking herself there again because her eyes started getting teary, but then she was catching herself because she was waiting for me to say what? Stop! And so she was telling the story, and she said, well, so even though she wanted to get teary-eyed and get back to that place, she was like, well, he came home, and I let her talk about the story a little bit, and I said, stop it! And she started laughing. She said, Doc, why do you keep doing that? And I said, well, look, I got another student coming in, so I really can't continue this conversation. I said, but do me a favor. I said, email me when you get back to your dorm or whatnot, or whatever you have to do today. Just email me and let me know how you're feeling. So she leaves the office. This happened in the morning time, so about afternoon. She sends me an email. And in the email, you can tell she's like, Doc, oh my God. You were funny. And I said, I'm thinking, well, what's going on? She said, Doc, because I had to go to Meyer, she had to go up the street to the store. She said, every time I wanted to get sad again about what happened between me and my boyfriend, I couldn't. Because I was waiting for you to say, stop it. So what I did was I broke up the way she was seeing things up until that point where she got in contact with me. So when she came in contact with me, she kept playing it again and again and again, and the experience allowed her to start crying. So what I did was I broke it up. So now, when she started thinking about it, she couldn't get back to that place. So that's what we're doing with our students. We're trying to break it up. We're trying to convince them that just because things have been this way in your life doesn't mean that it has to continue being this way. But the only way it's going to change is you have to do something different. Isn't it Einstein who said the definition of insanity is doing the same thing, expecting a different result? So what's happening with our students and what's going on is they're experiencing the same thing and the same thing has been happening, so they're thinking that the outcome is going to be the same way that it always has been. But we have to convince them and tell them that other people have done it, why can't you? So when I go speak to students, specifically high school students, they love me. And I'm not saying that to be all like I'm this guy or whatnot, but like I said, this is what I do. And so I can inspire high school students, specifically the high school students that are at risk, because I was that guy. And then on the other end of the continuum, I have my PhD. I can influence them as well. But I did. But I think the most important thing is building that relationship. They don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. So does that make sense to you? All right, so me and DJ, my guy. When my wife told me, she was pregnant, and then we went to the doctor and found out we was having a little boy. I know I was happy. I was like, shoot, I might have a little mini me, boy. It's going down. And so, when I was growing up, the shoe of choice, Jordans. And now, if you don't know, and I work with professional athletes, and I work with, college athletes, and that shoe of choice is still the shoe of choice. Because Jordan now re-releases all the old shoes and they stand in line for like 20 hours and there's only 2 pairs in the store. And so the first 5 people in line are the fortunate ones, and then the other people, they're fighting over. But back in my day, Jordan was the shoe. And so imagine, I'm having a little boy. My son gotta have Jordans, because Jordans is cool. And I want my little son to be cool. I want to be walking through the mall with my little boy when he learned how to walk. And he have on Jordans, and people like, oh, look at that little boy. His teeth are messed up, but look at his shoes. I wanted him to be cool. And so I come home, and I got these, because I know how to find a deal. I like to dress nice and everything, but I know how to find a deal. And I went to the Foot Locker outlet. And so I bought all these pairs of Jordans for him. I had about 10 pairs of Jordans for my son, because I found out a couple days before I'm having the son. So I come in the house with all these Jordans, and my wife looked at me. She said, really, baby? I was like, hey, my son gotta be cool. And Jordans are cool. And she said, all right, well. So fast forward, about to be 2 years old, almost 2, and he didn't have a pair of Jordans to fit him. And so the night before, because his birthday was the next day, I said, babe, I said, tomorrow, we gotta go to the mall, and we gotta get my son a pair of Jordans, because he ain't got Jordans to fit him right now. And you know, he ain't looking right without his Jordans. And she was like, let me go to sleep, all right. So the next morning, we get the car all loaded up, and my son, you know, he just sitting in the back. And so we got the car loaded up, we get to the mall, I got a little stroller, and you know, I put my son in the stroller, and my son, all right, so I'm gonna be honest with you, family, you know, he about to be 2, 1.5 or whatnot, and so my son always was clean, but what wasn't clean is, you know, they ain't got control of their neck that much, and so he always doing this. And I ain't really like doing all that. That wasn't cool, but his shoes always look clean. So we get to the Foot Locker, and so I said, hey, where are the Jordans that fit my son? She was like, oh, sir, they're over there. And so me and my wife, and she's not usually at the conferences with me, but this will be her first time hearing this. So we got to keep it in the room, you know, she's in the room, we had to go to counsel, okay? All right, so we get to Foot Locker, and so we go over there, and I'm looking, I'm like, ooh. I was like, all right, I gotta get some Jordans. And I was like, ooh, these are clean right here. And so I get the Jordans. And remember, I shopped at the Foot Locker outlet before, so I was getting the Jordans for like $5, $10. They was on sale. So I'm at Foot Locker. So I get the Jordans, I'm like, ooh, these is clean. Ooh, you gonna kill it with this? You're like, so I get the Jordans, and I was like, whoa, $45. Shoe was this big, it was $45. I was like, okay, maybe those are Jordans that make him jump. He can't control that, he'll make jump. All right, so I put those back. And so I get the next pair of Jordans. I was like, ooh, these is tight too. So I get these, and I'm like, whoa, $50. Shoe was this big. This dude ain't got no job. I'm not spending $50 on him. And so I'm serious. I'm sitting up and I'm like, dang. So I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, dang, I can't spend this money on these shoes. Dang, how is this a lot? And so my wife said the words that I never wanted to hear. That's why we had to go to counsel. She here now, but had to go to counsel. She looked at me and she said, baby! That's how she talked. Baby! Let's just go to Payless! I'm like, ain't going to Payless? My son ain't wearing no Payless shoes. And as we took our stroller on our way to Payless, those of you who are married know what I'm talking about. All right, so we get to Payless. And I'm mad. I'm like, ooh, I'm looking at him. He don't even know. He just, I'm like, he about to beat up his school. And so we get to Payless, and I asked the girl, I got a little attitude, I'm like, well, what are the shoes that fit him? And she was like, oh, sir, you're over there. And I go over there, and my son is going, hey! And I'm like, what's going on? He's like, hey! Spider-Man! My son was looking at a pair of Spider-Man shoes. And so I said, did she say, yeah, Spider-Man? And so I brought the shoes down, and I put them on his feet. He was like, Spider-Man, Spider-Man. And so we woke up to pay for the shoes, and by the way, those of you familiar, it was Bolo. So we got there half off. So we get to the front, and the lady, she said, well, can I have the shoes to ring them up? He was like, no! and he hit him with a spider web. And so we bought 2 pair and we left. And so I'm looking at him and he's just happy. We going through the mall, he just spider webbing everybody's head. It's amazing. And so we get in the car, and I put him in the car, and I got that second mirror. I ain't got no minivan. I gotta make sure. Okay, I got a minivan. All right, so I'm looking at the second mirror, and I'm looking at my son, and he's on the passenger side, and I'm looking at him, and I'm feeling like, cause he all, and I'm like, wow, I got this tingly feeling like I'm daddy again. Like he's happy about his Spider-Man shoes. I'm thinking he gotta have Jordans to be cool. My son has Spider-Man shoes on, and he's just ecstatic. And I'm watching him, and the darndest thing happened. And so I'm watching him, and his foot hit the back of my white chair and lit up. He was like, "Daddy, lights! Daddy, lights!" So my son is 10 now, soon to be 11. And he was talking to me. So you figure, what, 8 years ago, that I had an epiphany. That is 8 years ago. It's not what you wear, but it's how you wear it. It's about feeling good about you. See, I don't know what your schools are, if you're working in high schools or even elementary schools. These kids that we're working with, they're dealing with this pressure from friends over what they're going to wear, how they're going to dress, what's cool, what's not cool. And so we have to remember to always instill in them and tell them that they're great. That they're great, because greatness is inside each and every one of our students. And we gotta continue to water that greatness inside of them. We have to. It was Les Brown. Les Brown is one of my mentors and motivational speaker, those of you who are familiar with him. He said that you don't have to start in order to be great. Well, I'm sorry. You don't have to be great in order to get started. But you do have to start in order to be great. So we gotta tell our students, now is the time. Now is the time. Greatness is inside of you, but if you keep doing the same thing, you're going to miss out on so many blessings, so many things that you're supposed to do. See, a lot of people think that the richest place on the earth, they think it's the diamond mines in Africa. They think it's the oil fields in the Middle East. The richest place, and like I said, I'm here to inspire you as well. The richest place on earth is the cemetery. It's the cemetery. Because that's where a lot of dreams die. That's where a lot of ideas die. And see, we have those dreams and ideas inside of us, and we act like it's too late to accomplish those goals that we have. It's not too late. The same way we're encouraging them, I'm here to encourage you. Pick that dream back up. Get back to that place where you got into this field, you were like, you know what, I'm doing it because I care about these young men, these young women. You're going to have that person who's going to test you. But you got to get back to that place. Back to DJ. Me and my wife, we tell DJ and we tell my daughter Lonnie that they can be whatever they choose to. It's going to be up to them. Success is truly in their hands. So about 5 years ago, me and DJ, we were watching TV. And this was during the time that Michael Jackson passed away. So you can imagine everything on TV has something to do with Michael Jackson. And so me and my son, so 5 years ago, so you figured he was, 4? And so flipping through the channels, and I'm like, dang, everything about Michael Jackson, I'm trying to get to a cartoon. And he looks at me, because I knew he was known, they're always asking why. They're always asking what happened. And so DJ looks at me and said, Daddy, well, who was Michael Jackson? And I'm, God bless you, I'm thinking, dang, I really don't want to have this conversation about death with him at this age. But I look at him and I say, well, DJ, Michael Jackson was a great entertainer. And so he's like, okay. So he looks back at TV and I'm trying to change the channel to SpongeBob, something. But everything is about Michael Jackson. And so I look back over, he looks back over at me and he says, well, Daddy, what happened to him? So I'm trying to think of the words to relay to my young man that he'll understand. See, a lot of it is how we're communicating to them to where they can understand. You know, I tell my student athletes all the time that it's not my job to be this Dr. David Arnold guy where I'm not meeting you where you are. See, my job is to meet every student that I come in contact with and bring them up to the level where we know they need to be in order to be successful. When we're doing that, that's when we're doing what we were purposed to do. To meet them where they are. And they want to be at all different levels. So I look back at my son and I'm trying to figure out the words and I said, DJ, Michael Jackson was a great entertainer and he died because he had a bad heart. And so DJ looks back at me and he looks at the TV I'm like, okay, I think I'm good. But he looks back at me and he said, well, Daddy. I'm like, all right, where we going with this? He said, Daddy, when I grow up, Daddy, I want to be a doctor. 4 years old, he said, I want to be a doctor. He said, Daddy, that way I could have saved Michael Jackson, Daddy. He said, Daddy, in that way, Daddy, all these people on TV, Daddy, they wouldn't be crying. So I turned the TV off and I looked at DJ and I said, oh, that's cool, DJ. And I said, go play. Now we family, right? So I'm gonna keep it real with you. I was thinking inside as I told him that, but inside I was like, shoot, my son about to be a doctor, baby. He ought to get paid. That's what I was thinking inside. So as I'm walking to the room, my wife is already on the phone. One of her girls talking about, yeah, girl, my son gonna be a doctor, girl. So the next day we got this moving house, like a shoe wash house. And we got this moving house. And the rule is, your shoes have to be clean when you leave the house. So me and my 4-year-old son, next day we sitting in the laundry room and we're dressed and we're cleaning our shoes. And my wife calls me and I said, DJ, we can't be late getting you to the bus. Can you finish cleaning Daddy's shoes? He's like, Daddy, I can do it. And I said, okay. So I go in the room to see what my wife needs. About 2 minutes later, I come out. And I'm like, DJ, come on, we gotta go. We're about to miss the bus. Are you ready? They're like, Daddy, I'm ready. He said, I said, did you finish cleaning Daddy's shoes? He said, yeah, Daddy, here you go. And I said, wow. DJ, you did a great job on these shoes, man. And so I reached in my pocket and I gave my son a dollar. And my son was smiling from ear to ear. And looked at those shoes and looked at that dollar. And looked at those shoes and looked at that dollar. He said, Daddy, I changed my mind. When I grew up, I want to be a shoe shine man. I hear my wife in the other room say, no! My son believes that he can be whatever he chooses to be. And see, that's the key. We have to get them to dream bigger than they've ever dreamt before. I have this video on here and it's about how you train fleas. We've heard the story before, how you train fleas. But let me show you this video because I found this video so interesting. And when I show it to different students, they're amazed. Because we've all heard the story, but to actually see it, I think is amazing. You guys hear it? You hear it? Yeah. Let me ask you a question. I said it before, I said, I'm speaking to the choir. Remember I said that before? I said, I'm speaking to the choir. So when I asked you guys, I said, what do you think about that? That video I just showed. What do you think? What came to your mind when you watch that video of how they train fleas and you hear about it all the time? You hear about crafts and girls, you hear about all those people. Did you think actually watch it? What you think? Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Well, I was just thinking like how you'll have some parents sometimes who will say, well, why are you setting such a high bar? Shouldn't you help, I said the bar is here. I'll coach you, I'll spot you, I'll give you all kinds of support, but you have to they will go as far as you inspire them to go. And if you allow there to be no limits on what they can do, then that's exactly where they'll go. But if you say you only have to get to here, to get the A or to do whatever, that's only how high they're going to jump to do that.
Definitely. It's so funny because in my office with my student athletes, and by the way, let me brag a little bit. Like I said, this is what I do. I set up all type of resources with them. I tell them the importance of utilizing tutoring and all of these different things. And you got to remember, all high schools aren't created equal. And so I got a bunch of student athletes who have this talent, but they haven't developed the skills in order to be successful at Grand Valley. So I'm trying to retrain them. I'm trying to get them to understand that the resources are in place, but I can't read your mind. You're not going to walk past my office and I'm going to say, wait a minute, I had a vision last night. You're struggling in biology. It's not going to happen. You got to tell me when you need help. But I developed such a good relationship that they do that. And so we have in my office, I have this wall, and I call it the refrigerator, where I post good grades up. Because I know they remember when they were little, and they used to get those good grades, and they used to be posted up. And so, I had to talk to our law offices at Grand Valley or whatnot, and so I cover up their name. But that student knows who paper it is. And I have people on the football team that will come to my office that I meet with, and they're like, hey, look at this. And they bragging to their friends about what they got on the paper. And I can't tell you how everyone is now challenging each other to do well in this classroom. Because I tell them all the time, we have a good time talking about all these other things that's not going to matter about our ultimate success. When are we going to start talking about the things that have a direct correlation to them? What are the things that you get from the video? But great point. The bar has to be set, and wherever you set that bar at, that's where they're going to go. That's where they're going to go. Give me one more. What else? What else you get from the video? What else you get? Don't have any pictures. See, so we got a lot of teachers in here. We got teachers and principals and everything in here. And so I just asked a question, and I see y'all, as I look around the room, y'all trying to put your heads down. And then what happened in our classrooms, I'm picking on them, because that's what we do. Talk to them.
You can use
Talk a little louder so they can hear you.
compare the fleas to the students. The students get comfortable just getting by or being average. The fleas were comfortable in a small area they were in depth as opposed to expanding themselves, pushing themselves to be better.
If you notice, before they put the top on it, the fleas were jumping way past that limit that was placed on it. But as soon as they put that jar on, they started jumping up only as high as that top will let them. And then what happened is that the offsprings were looking at them, and now they had in their mind, my mother only jumped this high, my aunt only jumped this high, my grandmother only jumped this high, so maybe, just maybe, that's as high as I'm supposed to jump. And that's why everything that you're doing is so very important. And I want to thank you for that, because it was people who told me, even though my environment was only jumping this high, you guys opened up a whole different world to where I seen, wow, you mean in this book, it's talking about this person is jumping way higher than the environment they grew up in? I could really do that kind of stuff. Man, you can do that. Really? I can go on and after getting kicked out too, I can go get my associates, my bachelor's, 2 masters, and a PhD? Yeah, Danny, you can do that. No, I can't. Well, Danny, let me have you go look at this internet site. You like this guy, he's an athlete. Did you know this is how he grew up, and now all of a sudden he's doing this? You mean we can find other people who grew up in the same situation or worse situations than us, and they still made it? See, that's what we got to do. We got to get them, and we have some great people in history. But when we start to relate history to what they're going to do, that's when it clicks. Make sense? Did you have something over here, sir? So when you talk about it, go ahead.
Well, I just wanted to also mention that
A
lot of times that's also considered generational curse.
Yes.
And the younger generation kind of takes on the baggage of the older generation.
Yes. You're right. Still the first person in my family to this day graduated college. First person in my family to this day graduated college. The curse is broken in my household, though. See, it's not a matter of if my kids are going to college, it's what college are they going to. My student athletes, when I first got the job at Grand Valley, 10 years ago, it was crazy because, now our coaches, I don't know if you're familiar with Grand Valley, and I know where they stay, but our coaches, the head coach of Notre Dame was the coach at Grand Valley. The offensive coordinator, the year they went to the national championship, he's now the head coach of Miami, Ohio, is now the head coach there. We have 7 guys in the NFL. So we're a Division II school, but we're the best Division II school as far as sports-wise in the nation. And so I'm sitting up and I'm like, you know, we can go anywhere. It doesn't matter where you are now. Remember how he said it's not how you start, it's how you finish that counts. That's what I truly believe in. So you're right, you have these curses, but you don't have to be a part of that if you choose to do something different. Yes, ma'am.
Just connecting back to the fleas, I noticed how the masks were conditioned to be at the bottom, and then you only have a select few who were still trying to get to the top and push those limits. So that's kind of like how our student population is. They're conditioned to be functioning at the bottom, and it's okay.
Let me ask you a question, and I've said this when I'm going to speak many times. And by the way, I grew up in a single parent household, just me and my mother. And so that wasn't an excuse. But I tell students this all the time. I'm like, if you know someone has made it, because we all see those aunts, those uncles who made it, are you talking to that person, or are you talking to the people who haven't made it? You know, who are you associated with? You know, I'm talking to y'all too. Who are we associated with? Are we associated with people who push us, or we're around the people at our schools that all they can do is talk negative? All they can say is, oh, they say, we ain't got no money for this, man. Yeah, we don't. You know, we don't got, people think we ain't got a whole lot. We don't. We're Division II. But what happens is, if I think it's something that's going to help the population that I'm serving, I make it happen. I collaborate. I get with people who have like-minded ideas. I stay away from those negative people. And we all right, let me make sure before I make a broad generalization. How many of you, by a show of hands, your kids ain't here, we're going to secure the room so they don't have to know, how many of you have negative people in your life that you know? Show of hands, come on, we family. Wait here. If you have someone negative in your family or a friend or whatnot that you, so at first you ain't raising your hand, I knew I was going to get somebody. So we all have those negative people. We all have those people that is always towards me. It can be always towards you. Or you can say, you know what? I'm tired of this. When do you get sick and tired of being tired of doing things the same? When you want something different, do something different, and you'll get something different. The same things we're telling our students is the same things we need to be living by. I'm so focused in my life now. It's so crazy. I'm focused. I know, like I said, this is my purpose. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. This one DVD, these DVDs came out last week. I've been on this Be Inspired tour for the last 2 months. And so this DVD came out last week. And this DVD, if you have someone in your family, if you have a student that is struggling, at risk, this is the DVD they need. This is right here, I was talking to a group of young men, right? It's transferable to women as well. I was talking to a group of young men, and I was telling them different stories about what it's going to take to be successful. And the main thing that I can say that I spoke about is who are you going to hang around? We sit up and we ask our girlfriends, you know, girl, I just want to have a man. And they ain't got no man. They can't help it. We ask our guy friends, you know, I want to start a business. And they ain't got no business. You know, who are we hanging around? Are we pushing ourselves? Are we making ourselves better? Are we going above and beyond to get to that place where we ultimately want to be? And if we're not, then that's fine. Then we're back at the bottom of the barrel. But the people who get sick and tired, they're trying to get up to the top. And here's something you have to tell your students. It's going to be hard. See, what's happening is they think it's supposed to be easy because they see this person and they know a little bit about their story, and the next thing they see is on MTV, welcome to my crib. They don't see the in-between that person had to go through in order to get there. So you need to make sure you're telling them that it's supposed to be hard. Because when it does get real difficult for them, they already know. They already know. The blinders are on. And then you have to tell them too, and this is something I share with my student athletes, is if you're getting a grade that you don't like having on this particular paper or on this test, are you going to do something different in order to get a better grade? I have yet, I'm on the football field all the time on the sidelines at the game, I have yet to see my starting linebacker come off the field and say, Coach, Man, that running back's too good, man. Take me out maybe next week. Never. Never. But what I do see is they're walking the sideline and watch next time. You get it. And so that's what I challenge them. Say, I don't see you doing that on the field. I don't see you doing that on the court. So what if you use that same tenacity in this classroom? What if you said, you know what? It's going to be hard, but I'm determined to make this happen. Story about me. So I'm at Chico State. So I'm a former football player. Can you tell? Still got it? He's like, let the dream go. All right. So I go to Chico State. Last story. Go to Chico State. And it's so funny because at Chico State, I went to the junior college, and you know, I've always played football. That was my thing. And so I get to Chico State, and in order for me to get in, I had to go in through this EOP upper ground program. And so I had to meet with this, and I was a transfer student, I had to meet with this guy named Mike Takumo. See, it was people who didn't look like me that changed my life. That's why I don't get caught up in the whole, I joke about race. I don't get caught up in the whole, only black people can help you, only you. I don't get caught up in that. I think the most important being on this planet is the human being. And so I know it's been some people who didn't look like me who changed my life. So I'm meeting with Mike Takumo for 2 years, transfer student, and my coaches made sure, that's the only way I could get into the school, so they made sure that I was meeting with Mike Takumo. So I'm meeting with Mike Takumo I think it was like every 2 weeks. So I meet with him. So our last meeting, 2 weeks before graduation, I'm meeting with Mike, our last meeting, he said, and Mike was an Asian guy. Mike was an Asian guy. Coolest Asian guy you ever. I meet with him, be like, so dang, you ready to have this meeting? I'm like, yeah, man, he get me inspired. Didn't look like me. So we're meeting 2 weeks before graduation. He said, dang, so you know, what you gonna do when you graduate, Damon? And I said, because remember, this was my bachelor's. You know, I finished my associates. I still went in this school mentality. I was there to play football. I was an athlete student. I wasn't a student athlete, but I had to do all of this in order to graduate. So me when said, what you gonna do after graduation? I was like, Mike, what you mean what I'm gonna do after graduation? I'm about to go, you know, they about to call me as soon as I graduate. I'm about to make $200,000 a year. You know, because that's what I thought. I thought you go to school, get an education, you get this job, making $200,000 a year. He said, Damon, it doesn't work like that. I was like, what you mean it don't work like that? He said, Damon, I don't make $200,000 a year. I was like, are you serious? So he said, Damon, have you ever thought about grad school? I graduated with my bachelor's with a 2.1. I met with this man for the last 2 years. Grad school? How do you know I can't go to no grad? Because I thought grad school was for real smart people. People who said, yes, although that bridge is big, if you take yeah, I thought that's how they talk. And so he said, Damon, you really should think about grad school. And I was like, okay, whatever. So I leave my office, and I'm smiling from here. I'm graduating in 2 weeks. I didn't really listen to what he was saying. Grad school for real smart people. And so I see my friend Bookie. Okay. Wow. Ron Brown, but you know, we got nicknames, you know, we family. So we call him Bookie. His name's Ron Brown. So I see Ron Brown smiling from ear to ear. I'm like, Bookie, what's up, man? He said, dang. Man, I'm going to grad school. I took Bookie for some classes. Bookie wasn't that smart. Grad school is for real smart people who talk like this. So he said, Damon, you need to go talk to Dr. Scott. Dr. Scott started this new program. So I rush over, go into the office, knock on the door. He's like, come on in. That's how he talked. Dr. Scott was a white man. Changed my life. Asian guy, met with this white guy. He was about to change my life. He said, oh, I remember you. You were quite a football player. I throw that in the story every time. He said, well, I'm starting this program, and it'll be psychology classes and sociology classes, but really it's an at-risk youth program. And I think it would be good for, you know, you and Rod, you know, you guys are from the inner city, and we need to get guys like you speaking to these students, getting them to understand the importance of education. I said, okay, cool. So he said, I'm going to let you in conditionally for 1 semester. You got to maintain a B average. And once you maintain that B average, you'll be in. Never got a B average in my life. Well, yes, I did. My mother has a kindergarten picture of me. I was real good then. And so I leave his office, and I'm smiling from ear to ear, and I see my friend named Paxton. And I was smiling at Pastor like, hey, what's up, man? I said, Pastor, and I'm going to grad school. Pastor looked at me like I was crazy. Because Pastor had classes with me. Pastor knew I wasn't that smart. Pastor thought grad school was for these real smart people. And I said, Pat, you got to go talk to Dr. Scott. So he goes and he's talking to Dr. Scott. So he get in. So the three of us went to grad school. So just imagine, like I said, we hang around. So we pushed each other because we didn't want each other to fail. So we called on each other at night time and said, hey man, did you get that reading done? No, I ain't get it. All right, in the morning time, come over to the house. I grab an extra book. Come over to the house and we'll get our reading done and we'll get some breakfast. So we be, we challenging each other. We pushing each other. So I'm at Chico State, which is a renowned white institution. Our graduation is held on Saturday. So the day before, they had graduations for all the different ethnic. So they had black graduation, the Latino graduation on that Friday. And on that Friday, you can bring up all your family members and they'll come to this graduation. So imagine this. So we all on the stage now. I'm going backwards. I'm about to get my bachelor's degree. Because remember, I was about to graduate in 2 weeks. So the black graduation is always held at this church. It's held at this church. And so all the families come in and whatnot. And so there's about 40 of us on stage, and we all on stage, and we all happy and whatnot. And so my mother, she come to graduate and whatnot. And so it's at this church, and I don't know if you've been to a black church before, it's at this black church. And so every student gets a chance to go up to the mic, and you get about 1 minute, 1.5 minutes to thank people who played a significant role in your life. And so me and my dudes, instead of being happy about the situation, we sitting up making bets on which girl gonna cry first when she gets to the mic. And so the first girl goes, oh, she gonna cry, she gonna cry. So the first girl gets up, and she says, well, my family is all here, and I just want to thank them for coming all the way down from Minnesota, and we did it. And so everybody starts clapping, she goes to sit down, and so we all know, $5, she gonna cry. I see her crying about the student union, she gonna cry. Next girl gets up, she goes to the mic, and she almost started crying, but she got it herself. And she said, a lot of people, they don't know this, but I almost went home my freshman semester because I talked to my uncle, my favorite uncle, and he had been diagnosed with cancer. And I told him I'm coming home, and he said, baby, there's nothing you can do for me. I'm going to be all right, but you need to finish your degree. Well, everybody, my uncle's here, and he's cancer-free, and I love him to death, and everybody started clapping. She goes, sit down. So my last name is Arnold, so I'm the next person to get up. I go up to the mic, and my mother's sitting like right center, and I look at my mother, and I start crying like a little girl. It ain't no way, this is not, it's everything. It's bad. Because I remember all the mess that I put. I got kicked out of 2 different high schools. Graduated from continuation school. So you can imagine the conversations that my mother and I had. And I'm looking at her, and I'm crying, and I'm snotting and everything, and it's the black church, so all the women like, it's okay, baby, it's okay. And I said, well, I took my attention off my mother. I said, well, my mother doesn't know this, but next year, I'm going to grad school. And everybody started clapping, ah! And I see all the brothers say, get him. And so graduation over. And so everybody get with their family, and they hugging their family. And so I'm going to the end of the stage, and my mother walking up to the stage. And she walked, and she singing, and she said, boy, you don't be blind, this is church. You ain't going to grad school. My mother thought grad school was for real smart people. I can't go to grad school. I hadn't done what it took to get to grad school to position myself. I said, Mom, I'm going to grad school. This guy named Dr. Scott, he let me in conditionally, and I just got to get a B average, Mom. I'm going to do it. I'm going to get my mother started crying. She said, baby, she said, I always knew that you were going to do something great. See, when a lot of people started thinking I was just going to go into this crowd and I was doing the wrong thing and getting kicked out, my mother was that person. Dr. Scott allowed me in. He was that person. Mike Takumo, when we met, every single week, he would say, Damon, you better than what you're doing. You can do it. So when you talk about how do you get them to change and to see things differently, we just got to keep inspiring them. We got to break that record I talked about earlier. We got to break the way they've been seeing things in the past. We got to get them to understand that greatness is inside of them, and they can do it. And if no one else believes in them, we believe in them. We believe. We believe that they can do some great things in life, but we have to continue to tell them that it's possible. And so that's how I was able to become this Dr. Damon Arnold guy, by a lot of different people speaking into my life saying, you're better than what you're doing right now. But more than anything, they hung in there with me. They hung in there with me. So I want to publicly thank all of you guys for hanging in there with me. I know it gets hard. I know it gets hard. I know you're thinking, gosh, it's working. It's working. I'm that example. I'm that example. I'm not the exception. I'm the example of what's possible. So whenever you're there and you're thinking, gosh, think about Dr. Damon Arnold. I heard him speak. So when you leave this conference, I don't want you leaving like we always go to a conference and we leave and we're so inspired. And then, nope, when you get to that point, you think about Dr. Arnold. And you say, you know what, if he can do it, him and Bookie. If he can do it, this student I'm working with, they can do it. Does all this make sense? All right, let me plug for a minute. I'm sorry, a shameless plug for my last minute. I wrote this book, and the reason why I wrote this book, this was the first book I wrote after I finished my dissertation. And well, it was like 5 years after I finished my dissertation. A guy named Mark Murray. Mark Murray was the president of Grand Valley State University. We became good friends. He's one of my mentors. You know, who you hang around with now. I hang with people who are smarter than me. Mark Murray is now, he was the president for Myers, he's the CEO of Myers now. And so I think he's one of the most brilliant men on this planet. But we were traveling together, and he said, because I told him I wanted to get into this motivational speaking, he said, so Damon, what are you going to do when people aren't calling? Once again, people are calling me, they all will call me. I'm traveling around the world, I'm going to Africa, blah. And he said, David, there's going to be times where the phone isn't ringing. He said, you should write some books. I was burned out because I'm not a great writer. See, that's one thing I'm honest with my students. I'm an open book. Don't like that. Don't like science. Not a great writer. But I had to do those things. I had to surround myself with people who can help. And so I wrote this book because I said, you know what? I want to make this book easy for high school students, for middle school students to be able to read and be able to keep it simple. And so I said, what would I like? And so it's funny because this book has been passed around for all my student athletes when they're going through something. So I'm going to show you a little bit. It's double space. It's a lot of knowledge. So my students, when I say, hey man, I got this book I need you to read, and it's funny because other people read it, and maybe the book is, they don't have it with them, but they've been passed around. They're like, yeah, I don't want to read no book, and I show it to them, they're like, you can read this. I made it simple enough for them. And so this book is available at the table at a discounted price because we're family. And then this book, this was the second book that I wrote. And this book, myself and my wife wrote together, and it's funny because it's two books in one. It's my son on one side, and my son is talking about how he's all these things, because I believe you can be whatever you choose to be, as we said. And he's all of these different things, and then at the end it says he's the future. On the back is my daughter, and she's looking into this vanity mirror, and she's saying, mirror, mirror, what do I see? And I see it on this one page, is her talking to her stuffed animals, and on the next page, she's open, talking to guests on her show. What teachers have done with this is they created well, my wife actually did it too, but they created a book to go with it. So the kids were looking at this and they were talking about all the different things that they could get, that dream did. So great book as well, discounted price. And then we have the 2 DVDs. This DVD, like I said, if you have that niece, that nephew, anyone that you know needs to be inspired in life, this is the book. I mean, this is the DVD. This DVD is 1995. 1995, but I believe it's life-changing. The people who I've allowed to look at this since we got it, my students are like, man, that's what's up. And this one is for students, I would say students that are entering into college, and it talks about the relationships and different things like that. But more than anything, I just want to thank you. The books will be available. I think we're going to be here until like 11 o'clock. But my kids do need braces. Seen the pictures, but I want to thank you for giving me your full attention. I don't take time lightly. I understand the importance of time. When I'm speaking to people my age and younger, I know a lot of people here younger. I know time is something we can't ever get back. So I appreciate you giving me your time, and I appreciate everything that you're doing. Once again, thank you. Thank you for your attention.
I'd like to thank Dr. Arnold for being here because he's really inspired us to start off our retreat and how we're going to deal with students. And just an example of relationships, we received today a photo from the Joint Service Learning Academy. Their students who were at one of our summer camps. And it's showing, you know, we love LSSU. And it's just great to know that we have that type of relationship with those students. And it was really an honor having them on our campus. So I'm glad that we were able to make an impression on them because I know they made an impression on us. So it may seem like a small little thing, but you know, to us it's something big, and hopefully it was something for our students.